Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of New to Weeaboo. This is number 113 for December 27th, 2023. I am Nemesis, and I am joined by Alcatraz.
Hello.
Yeah, we are here. Final episode of the year. Because December is almost over, which means the year is almost over, and it's the only time you hear this also is after Christmas and everything. So,
Yep.
a couple things I want to bring up real quick. I noticed one thing they announced apparently like a anniversary event for both Haruhi and Lucky Star, because they'll both be turning like 20 years old this year or something like that, and this next year or something like that. So like they're doing some big anniversary event for the two of them, which is funny because I know the same voice actress did a voice for both of them and the same animation studio.
It makes it a bit easy to get everyone together.
Yeah.
Less people have together.
The other thing was apparently they announced a One Piece remake.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
I vaguely remember hearing about that.
What? Okay. That's just okay, sure. And it's for Netflix only.
Yeah.
Let's see, and also Nappa announced the Chainsaw Man movie, and we'll see if they overwork their animators for that one too.
Yep.
Beyond that, just keeping up with the usual for the most part. Spy Family, it had its season finale because it's half the length this time, because otherwise they'd run into the problem of we've caught up to the manga and have no more material.
Oh, that's always fun to watch happen. Watch them scramble to try and come up with new stuff that
they don't really do
conflicts.
that. They don't do that filler crap for the most part anymore.
Yeah.
They try to not stop doing that because they realize people don't like that.
Well, the two ways you go is either you add filler, which is I think the standard anime manga thing. You just add filler until more
like I said,
more manga
it was
comes
the
out.
standard.
Yeah.
People don't do that so much anymore because
Right.
people don't like that.
But the other way similar things have been done is where they just kind of start making new content, which inevitably runs counter to the original source, and that
Well,
pisses
that's pretty much the
people
same
off
thing.
too.
Filler
So,
and new content is pretty much the same thing, regardless. People it's functionally the same thing because you can't actually progress
Yeah.
the story because
the problem is like if they start moving the story forward without the original content,
you're going off in a new direction.
exactly,
regardless,
which I think
some anime have done.
non-anime has done as well.
Some
I
anime
think
have straight
Game
up
of
done it.
Thrones was a big one.
Yeah.
Piss people off.
Yeah, well, that's one thing. Just still keeping up with other stuff, and it was 100 Girlfriends. Yep, exactly what I thought. They did exactly what I thought they'd do.
Oh, I heard about that one. Yeah, you told me about what they were doing with that one. It's like,
Yeah, and they absolutely committed to it. I'm like, well, we're doing this.
Alas.
Oh, that's a weird one too, because I found out like more information. Like, it's like, oh, okay, that's I guess. It's just. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the final Evangelion movie, Shin Evangelion movie. I guess repeat. That's what
Those are not pronounceable characters.
That's a repeat symbol from sheet music, so that's what I'm guessing. Or most of us know it.
Is it because those colons may not be part of the two lines that come after that may just be there because I think the rest of them had them too.
Considering the theming of the movie.
Right, yeah. It could be.
Anyway, most of us also know it as Rebuild Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0, Thrice Upon a Time.
Yep.
So, it is the fourth and final movie. This is the most recent release. The one that took forever to come out actually came out, 2 years ago at this point, but it just came out on Blu-ray in the U.S. a couple months ago, which is why we're doing it now, because I remember saying to myself, once that fourth movie comes out, we'll do them.
Yep, and it came out, and here we are.
Yeah, so the fourth one is kind of more or less a continuation of all the crap that Shinji caused at the end of the second one.
Yep.
We kind of see more of the world beyond just... Because for the most part, in the third movie, we saw the Wunder and Nerve HQ, and that's it.
Yeah.
So that's when it comes to the fallout from near third impact, as they call it in this one.
Yeah.
That's all we saw. We didn't see everything else, really. And then this one kind of goes into what actually happened to humanity as a whole. And the answer is they're keeping on. They're keeping on, as we're wont to do.
Yes, the ability for humankind to adapt to its shifting surroundings.
So we got the whole thing, at the beginning of the movie, Shinji's pretty much just existing. He just sits there. He doesn't really respond to people. He doesn't talk. He doesn't eat. He just sits there. You find there's a village of survivors and all that stuff, and like, hey, look, we see some old familiar faces. in that, hey, look, it's
His friends from school.
his friends from school and whatnot, and they're adults now because, well, they're not cursed by Evangelions or whatever.
Or whatever, however that's supposed to work.
Toji's there, and so is Kensuke. Kensuke is he's there
Kensuke,
too.
yeah.
Ken is like, oh. But yeah, they're there. They're surviving. Like Toji's married now to, hey, look, it's the class rep Hikari. They're married. They have a kid. And yeah, just Shinji kind of seeing that, and Rei, well, new Rei,
not old Rei.
yeah, kind of maybe she doesn't. Yeah, there's a whole thing.
The
there.
delineation between Reis is a whole.
There's a whole thing about this particular Rei, not Rei. What they keep calling her Miss. They kept calling her something specifically.
Lookalike. Miss Lookalike.
Miss Lookalike, that's what it was. Yep, kept calling her Miss Lookalike. So there's a whole thing. There are little adventures in that little village, and Shinji recovering, and Rei and Asuka, apparently she doesn't go in the village for reasons. She doesn't really get into it. And I think we kind of know why later, but maybe. I think seems to be the reason. But anyway, then they have to do the whole, we're going to, Asuka and Shinji go back to the Wunder. They're going to attack Gendo and the Nerve HQ, the mobile one, because they're going to do the fourth impact. They're going to do it. It's going to be at the end of it all.
Yep.
So they got to stop them. Turns out it was all part of the Gendo's plan, and then it seems like it's all for nothing, and then Shinji's able to, do what he's always been wanting to do, which is talk to his dad.
Yep. They finally
sit down and talk.
Sat down and talked.
And he was able to save the world by doing that.
With a little help.
But yeah. And there's a little bit more we'll get into, but that's basically what happens. And then everyone actually gets their happy ending. Almost everyone.
I don't think Misato made it.
So yeah, that's the crux of it. As a finale for this whole series, because I want to add the original series as part of this whole thing too.
Especially with what they was discussed.
The implications.
Well, we were theorizing about it earlier on some of the earlier episodes that this has happened before. But
regardless, as a whole end cap for this all, it's pretty darn good.
I would agree, especially with this one. But yeah,
to say the least, it's pretty darn good.
It's pretty darn good.
I will say maybe a little bit of
the middle point was a little weak.
Yeah, it kind of felt like there's this conjoining part in the middle that was trying to join the initial plot line and the final plot line, kind of get them together. It's kind of very tenuous connection there. But overall, it's a very solid 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
It's 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. That is a long.
It's that long. We're going to be here for a while.
Yeah, but I think it was a good thing because it let them actually set the pacing the way it needed to be for the scenes that needed it.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike that was some of our complaints with the previous ones. It felt like
pacing was bad.
Really bad pacing. This one stretched it out, but they paced it really well.
Mm-hmm.
The slow parts that needed to be slow were slow, and the fast action pace, it was all where it needed to be.
Yeah. And also, when they did explain stuff, they didn't feel like they kind of just dumped it in this spot because they needed to dump it somewhere.
Yeah, there was not. I mean, there was some exposition dumps, but there was nothing egregious.
I was talking about last movie was the whole.
Yeah.
Let's just put it here, I guess.
Yeah.
And just confirm everything rather than just making sure because the audience is kind of stupid. But big thing here is a lot of the interpersonal character dynamics are really at the forefront here. Really at the forefront. I mean, they're obviously there throughout the whole thing, but they're really focused on Shinji and Asuka's relationship is focused on Shinji and Rei's relationship. Shinji and his dad. Shinji and Gendo's relationship is a big thing here.
Yep.
It's it all comes full circle with that.
Yep, everything comes full circle there.
Misato and Shinji's relationship.
I think everyone in Shinji.
Yeah, Rei and Asuka, they're whatever, kind of a little bit. Marie finally gets a little bit more.
Yeah, finally. I know we were complaining about it last time.
After 2 movies of barely getting anything, she finally gets something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing. And also there's I almost forgot, there's the opening thing in Paris. We're seeing the whole, basically the world's contaminated now thanks to Shinji's thing, and they have these devices that can stop
LC containment fields.
Yeah, they can basically stop the contamination in certain areas.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called. It's contaminated, but yeah, basically everything's red.
Everything's red.
And yeah, there's also a bajillion Eva units now.
Yeah,
just being
they're like mini Evas that aren't as powerful, but there's a gajillion
also
of them.
Often headless.
Yes, the headless ones,
or they have skulls.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because the first part of the movie, you got Shinji and Rei need both getting to the points that they need to be. Rei is like basically learning to be human. Like she's asking these questions like, "What's that? Oh, that's a cat. You don't know what a cat is, and what's that? It's it's saying goodbye. What's saying goodbye mean?
Why did you shrink a human?
Why did you shrink a human?
Eating the baby
for the first time. Why are there so many people here?
Never seen a crowd. What's hell? What's goodbye?
Yep.
What's work?
Yep. And her just kind of also genuinely smiling and everything. And unfortunately, turns out she's one of the clones that's a little unstable, and she just kind of popped more or less.
Yep.
She realized what's going on, and like she says goodbye to Shinji.
Yeah.
But at least beforehand, though, she was able to get through to him because for a while he was just kind of not there anymore.
Yep. He was still suffering from the trauma of seeing Kaoru go
and
all
the other stuff, and including the whole I screwed up.
Yeah, and it was his fault.
Don't pull the spear, Shinji. I'm gonna pull the spears. Oh no, what have I done?
Yep.
But yeah, one of the big things there was like they had the conversation. Or if Shinji's just he just wants to be left alone. He doesn't get it. Why do people keep trying to be nice to him? And it's just very simple, because we like you.
Yep.
And
that broke him.
Yeah.
In a good way, sort of.
Got his tears out.
Yep. Which is what he needed to do, really.
Because meanwhile, Asuka's trying to help him, but like in her Asuka way, which is basically berating him and shoving food in his mouth and forcing him to eat. And
yeah, Asuka's method is not very effective on Shinji.
Asuka's just trying to basically kicking him over and over again until he does stimulus response. Come on, do something.
Yeah, I think Asuka's kind of broken herself.
Oh yeah, that's the whole thing.
And
these kids are broken. That was kind of the point.
That's kind of the whole point. But her damages kind of impede her ability to help.
And the thing is, they don't really get into the background of that because they got in the background of that not to the very end anyway.
Yeah.
But they mostly got in the background of that in the original series. The whole she basically grew up alone thing was very much a central part. So she's basically been lonely this entire time. Just like Shinji.
Yep. But Shinji wallows in it.
Yep.
Asuka buries it.
Buries it and gets mad.
Yeah.
Marie
is a hard one to pin again.
Yeah.
Because she's just kind of...
She's just...
I don't know. Almost, other than the fact that she seems kind of creepy with how she enjoys what's going on, she seems more mentally grounded, but again, with how she acts,
she's kind of more happier than everyone else.
Yeah, and sometimes to the point where that itself might be a problem.
Yeah, she's a little more positive than everyone else in general. What's interesting about her is like we see that her and Asuka have clearly developed a bond. I mean, that was already kind of established in the third movie, but this one really shows it more.
Mm-hmm.
There's that whole thing there. There's also a weird thing where it's like they kind of reveal her actual name is Marie Iscariot. Like Judas, which apparently is significant because I guess she was working with Gendo at one point.
Maybe, or maybe someone just looked like her assistant.
Because we saw her in these flashbacks at one point. It's like, has she been like? Because the same implication is her and like Kaoru may have been like kind of stuck as 14-year-olds for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Because again, that whole Evangelion, because it looks like it might have been happening a long time before even Shinji and Rei and them.
Yeah.
So that's an oddity in of itself. Because like, oh look, here she is, and it's what the how did?
Mm-hmm. They don't explain that one, but it's also not important to the immediate.
But it's kind of interesting right there. That whole thing is like,
It is very curious.
Iscariot thing.
Although, again, this series is one that really likes to use religious imagery and words that has absolutely no real meaning.
Using a lot of Christian terminology in this to...
Yep.
Like,
That's always been a huge thing since the original series is, what does it mean? It doesn't actually mean anything here.
It just sounds cool.
So this could be one of those.
Like Gendo saying the horsemen are gathered.
Yep.
Stuff like that. It's like, that sounds cool as heck.
Mm-hmm. The Four Horsemen.
Man, but yeah, seeing that village life and like even like Ken like taking Shinji around, just trying kind of he by just explaining things that Shinji explains things to the audience, like what the heck are these big old tube things for?
Yep.
And oh, by the way, we don't know if those ever fail. We're boned.
Yep. Yep. Because the red will just come flooding in.
Yep. Yeah, and
then the random Evas that apparently pop up without heads.
They started moving.
The Wanderers.
Also, just stuff randomly floats. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. Just don't worry about it. It's fine.
It's fine. Don't worry.
It's fine. All in all, this was really good.
Mm-hmm.
This was very, very good. I think of the four, probably the best.
Yeah, we're going out on a bang for sure.
Ended on a high note. The first one wasn't bad, but it
was
basically
largely
just
retread.
It's a retread of the series
Until it wasn't.
Until like the very end. It goes
but
aha. The second one was similar to the series, but starting to it like followed a similar.
Well,
it was different, but like it still. What
it was significantly different at that point,
right? But it was still like moving in the same way.
A little bit until we had
the story followed similar steps. They were still trying to do the same things, but the details were very different and starting to deviate. And then until very much in the end, it was like, hard shift. Third one, everything different.
The third one was very much about Shinji and Kaoru and Kaoru, and like
Kaoru.
Yeah, that whole thing, and then but the problem was like a lot of the stuff around the two end caps of that movie weren't very good.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one we got to wrap it all up.
Yep, and this one ties everything up and puts it all together.
Their whole thing is like we have to stop Unit 13.
Yep, which is very similar to Unit 01.
Mm-hmm. We see kind of figure out why too.
That's interesting. The whole 13 and 1, how it ties into Kaoru, who was the first angel and is 13th. Now the 13th.
Yep.
Also, it's interesting, that big conversation. Commander Nagisa.
Yep.
And Nagisa Kaoru being in Shinji in Gendo's spot.
Yep. Makes you wonder.
He was the first. He was there first. Gendo kind of they don't say anything like that, but it's interesting to speculate. He was there at the beginning. He was the first angel. How did it all start? I'm super curious as to, because obviously, like you even said earlier, the angels and Evangelions and stuff started well before Shinji and whatnot.
Yeah.
So how did it start? I'm curious as to how it started, Second Impact and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about Second Impact, but you never see Second Impact. I think the series may have had like flashbacks.
We had glimpses, and even the movie had the very brief glimpse with Misato's dad.
Right.
Yeah, that's one thing Gendo talking about, continuing Misato's dad's work, and she's like, I'm going to stop my dad's insane ramblings one way or another.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there's that whole thing. We also found out Misato had a kid.
Yep.
With Reiji.
Yeah.
Not Reiji.
Ryuji. Ryuji.
Ryuji, yeah.
Ryuji Kaji.
Yeah, him. Who also briefly appears at the end of the movie.
And it's funny, the kid's name was just R. Kaji.
Yep, R. Kaji. Yep. And Shinji gets to meet him, and it turns, he's never met his parents, and that's the way Misato wanted it.
Yeah.
Well, in part because Ryoji's dead. Whoops.
Kind of hard to meet your dead dad.
Yeah.
Unless you go into some weird world. So you can meet your maybe not so dead sort of mom. I don't know.
Yeah. So like, there's a whole thing when they have the standoff and everything, and Shinji was also locked up because we don't trust you. So we're gonna put you in a cage and basically make it explode if you try to do anything.
Because apparently the neck bomb didn't work.
Yep.
Oh, it did, just not the way you thought it was.
Yeah. Well, they even know that blew up the other pilot.
Yep.
They knew that.
They found that one out later.
We find out all of them actually live in these little boxes, which is interesting. It's like
they don't trust any of the pilots.
Asuka is not remarked because they're trusting us less and less.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they try. Asuka and Marie are trying to stop them. They fail, and then eventually, we get the review. Gendo shows up, and the doctor, she Ritsuko shoots Gendo, and then, oh, he's not really human anymore, because he just kind of picks up his brains and just kind of puts it back in.
Yep.
And O's head's kind of just hollow now.
Yeah.
His eyes are missing.
Yeah.
Oh.
His glasses were covering up a big glowing hole in his face.
Oh, dear. And Shinji goes, how pilot unit 01 as all the crew, surprise, have a bit of freak out over that.
He was like, no, not again.
Not again.
We've been on this road before. We ain't doing it again.
Misato's like, yeah, okay.
And everyone's like, no.
And then she's, I'll take responsibility.
That doesn't help if everyone dies.
Oh,
yeah, that's great. We can blame you.
Well, Marie takes him
Doesn't
in.
bring back.
Yeah, because that's the thing. We kind of get flashbacks to Evangelion, but now instead of a normal-looking Ray, now the giant Ray is creepy as hell.
Oh, yeah. We start
Creepy, realistic CG Ray.
Yeah, the Lilith. We have what they call it, Black Lilith, because
Yeah.
it looked like the Lilith that was down in Nerve headquarters that had no legs. It was stuck to the cross with the spear.
Right.
And then it got the other spears entered it. It turned fully white. It grew its legs and then came up through the gate and then turned into, oh, that mask falls off and it's Ray.
So it's all
The
creepy.
creepy Ray.
Creepy, uncanny valley CG Ray.
Oh, geez. That was like, please, no. That's
Just making
no.
us stare at it for very long periods of time.
Yeah, that was really creepy.
And then all the weird headless Evangelion units turned into Rays, except also headless. And then they started joining hands, and uh-oh, things are going bad.
Yep, they did the whole sweeping wave across like the globes, the turning into the crosses. There was a lot of callbacks to. That was end of Evangelion, if I remember correctly. We're referencing a lot of end of Evangelion.
Because, yeah, that's the whole
there.
thing. That's Gendo's end thing, is he wants to unite all of humanity under one mind, one heart, one soul.
Also, you can get back to...
So that way he can meet Yui again. Because that way they'll be reunited, right?
Right.
Right.
But, you know, oh man, that was one point when they're having a conversation, he starts freaking out. Why is it always Ray? Where's Yui? Why is everyone Ray? He couldn't find her. Yeah. Even in that area, could not find her.
I'm getting into that a little bit. But, Shinji was in there, and, like, he constantly, Unit 01, and hey, look, Unit 01 regrows all his limbs, and then he fights his dad. Yep. He and his dad both have a spear. The opposite spears, one for hope, one for despair. They're fighting, and it doesn't work.
Yep, they're evenly matched. They can't overpower any either.
Because his dad's now piloting Unit 13.
Yep.
And, like, yeah, they're evenly matched. And it's like, he's not meant for fighting, so, okay, let's talk.
Yep. Thing you should have done since day one.
Well, Gendo being Gendo, and
yep,
Shinji being Shinji, well,
they'll never talk until now.
They finally sit down and talk, and we find out really you get into Gendo for really get into him and why he's the way he is, and it's like Shinji is basically took after his dad.
Yep,
his dad was just a loner and whatnot, but for him, he kind of was fine with it, and he met Yui, and he was the first person. Basically, he says the first person to really accept him for who he is.
Yep,
and he was happy, and he has a kid, and then Yui's gone, and he was just, for the first time in his life, lonely, and he didn't know how to deal with it. And then, found about this human instrumentology project, and well, that's the way he'll get his Yui back, right?
Right.
And it's him and Shinji talking and like working things out, and like him having that realizations and everything. It's like, wait, maybe I am in the wrong here.
You are the baddie.
And Shinji, just kind of realizing his dad is, well, because that's the thing. His dad said he claimed, Gendo there claiming, "Oh, I abandoned my humanity." In an AT field, he shouldn't have one of those. He has no humanity. Like, he does have some still. And am I afraid of Shinji? Yes, turns out. And
yep.
What was interesting about all
I like that scene where Shinji just reaches straight through the AT field with no resistance, just no hesitation, just whoop.
No resistance, no hesitation. Yeah, that was the big thing. Was like the headphones. Like, that's how he cut his. That was his dad's player, and he always used it to cut himself off from the world, just like Shinji does.
Yep.
And that also might be one of those things on why Gendo seems to be so towards Shinji's, because
The classic, I see in you what I hate in me.
I hate this. I don't like this. Get away from me, you weird kid. Ew.
Yeah.
But yeah, they talk, and it's also that Gendo having a realization is like, yeah, Yui was there all along, wasn't she?
Mm-hmm.
And him, it's like the whole. I mean, in the sense that like, parents passing on to their kid, your parents are in you, that sort of thing. But also like, literally,
sort of. It's a weird one.
Because after all that, Gendo's like, yeah, okay, I'm out.
Goofed.
I'm out, and he leaves. And she's like, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? Because apparently there's this whole thing on the bit was basically can influence fate in the world. Yeah, the reality itself.
They called it Gamora.
Gamora.
Or something of Gamora or something like that. That's a name, again, one of those religious names that's completely out of context.
Yeah. So Shinji is going to fix it.
Because Kaoru shows up and basically explains, Gendo is at the core. Now you are. Your job now. Your choice.
What are you going to do? I'm going to get rid of Evangelion. I'm going to get rid of Eos.
Yep. It's like, I'm going to fix all the damage.
He brings, because Asuka at this point is also, she turned herself into an angel trying to stop the impact.
Yep, trying to take out Unit 13.
That was the whole thing. Which turns out, the whole thing with the eye, because I forgot to mention in the last movie, her eye glows blue. The eye patch glows blue sometimes. Turns out they jammed one of those cylinders into her eye.
Yeah, LC containment field.
Yeah. To prevent her from turning into an angel again.
Yep.
And since she moved it, turned into an angel, then surprise, that was the whole plan there, and she turned into an angel. She seemed to be lost, except she might still be in there, because Marie was very much like, told Shinji specifically to, get her back.
Go save Asuka. Yeah.
And he saves Asuka, he saves Kaoru, he saves Rei, the original Rei. He saved the first time, so she was just still stuck in there. She had long hair this time for some reason.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that one before.
Yeah, it's been a lot of merchandise.
Yeah.
They merchandised the crap out of it.
That's what happens when you don't cut your hair for 14 years.
Yeah, they even mentioned this thing where Asuka was complaining about how basically her body's on pause except for her hair.
Yep. That's what happens when you don't cut your hair for 14 years.
It's real long. So then it goes back to short again because of reasons. So he gets her out, and then he's all except he's just going to be stuck there. And then all of a sudden, his mom goes, "Nah," and pushes him out.
Yeah, because at the very last scene, he takes the fake spear, because that's one thing. Misato, creates a new spear from the remnants of, from the remnants of Unit 1, because it's part of the Wonder and all that they're creating. The spinal thing that they had part of that. Created a brand new spear that was not supposed to exist.
Yep. Gendo was like, "What?"
Yep. This is not part of the plan. They finally did something outside the plan and sent it into the realm that they were in so that they could use it.
Yeah.
Misato sacrificed herself.
Yeah.
Got rid of everyone else, but no, she stayed with Captain, it so she can make sure it goes.
Captain goes down with the ship.
Yep. Except for Murray. Murray went with the spear because she was in an EVA and could do that.
Yep.
And Shinji was there with the spear. I was like, all right, well, got to take out these EVAs, including
Shinji
me.
He used the spear in the end after, talking to his dad, and dad gave up.
Yeah.
And he uses the spear and he fixes everything. And then
then mom goes right at the point. Yeah.
Just gives him a hug and then pushes him out and just smiles at him.
Yep.
Oh. He's like, Ray? No, you're not Ray.
You're not Ray.
Oh, I get it now.
Your hair is dark. You don't have the white hair.
Yeah, so then...
Or blue hair, yeah.
And we also see that at the very end there, we see they kind of call back to Evangelion again. Or actually more, in this case, more the actual end of the series. With the whole lower quality drawings and whatnot.
Yep.
And we get through, we see Gendo's past and why he is the way it is. And it kind of makes you actually sympathize with this, utter jerk who you've been hating for so long.
Yeah.
You actually feel bad for the guy.
Because he's just as broken as everyone else.
Surprise! That's the thing, is we see Shinji's finally kind of coming to terms with himself.
Yeah.
As a whole, just kind of coming to terms with it. He finally learns, I shouldn't run away. He finally learns it. We see Asuka, we get her whole thing there, because as he's saving them, we kind of get their bits and pieces, their past. Kaoru's there, Kaoru's, Ray's even, a little bit.
Yeah.
Asuka, we see her kind of like, and apparently she made the vague implication she made a connection with Ken because she was living with him.
Right.
So there's like a vague implication there that, yeah.
Maybe, yeah. It's pretty vague. But
Because, yeah, I mean, he showed up, because she has that little puppet thing she liked to talk to, and then there's a giant version of her, like this, like, pseudo flashback thing, and then takes off the head and it's him.
Yep.
So, like, all right.
Yep.
And then everything's back to normal. Like, normal, as in the world's fine. Shinji's sitting on the beach and everything. Like, even with Asuka, they even called back to that bit, except he doesn't choke her out.
Yep.
Or attempt to.
Yep.
And then he's sitting on the beach again. The quality that we go from fully finished animated to rougher versions, and then Marie shows up, and then it goes back to normal, and
the last Eva.
Then we get to it looks like it's a flash forward because like everything's normal. The world's fine. The water's blue again. People are alive. There's no Evas, and we see an adult Shinji.
Yep.
An adult Marie, an adult Rei, and all that. So we see the adult versions. They're adults for real now.
Actual adults. They're getting older.
And the weirdest swerve, which is apparently Shinji and Marie are in a relationship.
It seems to be. Kind of hard to tell with Marie, but because Marie just is kind of has no boundary, no physical.
The way Shinji reacted though.
Yeah, Shinji's reaction is what hints
him running
more
off holding hands and everything, and him calling hot girl with big boobs.
Yeah, well, that's a callback to what she said. Yeah,
still, that's a flirty thing though.
It is very much. That's a flirty thing.
I remember that thing you did that one time. That's that's a flirting thing. So it's like, okay, that's a swerve after all this time of Rei or Asuka. Nope, after Marie.
All of even Asuka's confession from earlier.
Yeah, because that was one thing confirming what we all kind of knew is Asuka and Shinji did feel for something for each other back in the day, but things changed. Which
Asuka grew up.
Yeah,
before he did,
and he eventually grew up too.
Yep.
But yeah, that's one of the things your teenage relationships usually don't last.
Nope.
Because he's like, yeah, cool, you're so in love with him, you're going to be there with him together forever. No, you're not.
You're a teenager. You're young and stupid.
And again, in Japan, if I understand, that tends to be a little different. But here, at least in the U.S., you typically, if you're in a romantic relationship in high school or something, it will be dead before your first year away.
I don't know the numbers. I mean, there are your high school sweethearts,
but very
do sometimes last.
Like those, you think those where you're a teenager, you think they'll last forever? They will not.
Yeah,
almost like your odds are you're gonna break up and meet someone else. It's gonna happen
because you're still a teenager.
Yeah, and you're still both growing up and everything.
You're a teenager. Yeah. Not only are you still young, your brain is kind of.
A lot of your priorities right now are they hot? But that's it's just interesting. It just ends like that. Just kind of we get a genuinely happy ending.
Yeah, it is weird to actually have a happy ending in all this.
No weirdness, but actually no wait, no. It's a genuinely happy ending with no real strings attached.
Yeah,
I mean the last thing sucks for Masato, but like.
We don't know what happens with Masato if she's even there. Yeah, not
Masato. She's dead.
Yeah, I know, but like
you said.
Well, the thing we saw her die, but Shinji also reset everything. So
to a degree,
how much did he reset? Yeah. Did Masato come back? Could she come back? Is it even possible? Because we also didn't see Asuka afterwards, but we know she survived because she was on the beach beforehand. But yeah. How much got reset?
I don't know. It's one of those things like, hey, we're gonna have this big sacrifice scene just to undo it. It kind of feels like a cop out, but
it does. I hope it's kind of. I don't want to say I hope she stays dead because that's kind of mean. But from a storytelling perspective, it would be kind of. It would be cheapening her sacrifice, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Not that much because it was still really important, and if it wasn't for her doing that, none of it would have happened. But
actually, we did see Asuka at the end.
Did we see her?
In
the end? In the old. When we got older.
She's there.
Okay.
She's there. She's just barely there. It's just one of the. You almost like you don't even know
when you miss her or whatnot.
No, she's there. You just might not even notice she's there.
Oh.
Because she doesn't stand out particularly enough. She doesn't stand out, but she's there. Trust me. I'm looking right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any other things because, like, there's probably a lot of stuff we can dig really into.
Yeah, if
but
we wanted
like,
to dig into it, and we're probably gonna think of it more as we have time to just like sleep on it
Yeah.
and
this
chew on
is
it mentally.
pretty raw reaction.
Yeah.
But like, the thing is, I'm really happy they brought full circle Shinji and Gendo. I'm actually so impressed they managed to make me feel bad for Gendo.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's,
It turns out he's not a bad guy. He's
per se
just broken.
He's a broken guy who made a lot of bad decisions because he just really missed his wife.
Yeah, he isn't just straight up evil. He's not just an evil dude. He had a reason. His reason was bad, and his actions are bad. But
he
like,
cut Shinji out of his life because he just felt like Shinji, he wasn't good enough to actually be there for Shinji.
Yeah, he thought that was what was best for him.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It's sort of like what, again, Misato is doing with her kid.
Yeah, because we see that Misato had a kid, and yeah, she just kind of, nope, I'm just going to not be there ever because he's better off without me. And
in that case, it seems to be working, but...
Because I made well, that's because in this case, the kid actually
has a support structure.
And also didn't get to really know her at all.
Yeah.
And and it's just funny, just the picture of Shinji and her kid there. It's like, her sons.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff here. The big thing is we do get the big Evangelion fights, and they're really cool looking. But we also get a lot of the interpersonal stuff, which really satisfying conclusions to a lot of the stuff. They did, for the most part, they did a really satisfying conclusion to a lot of these things. Granted, there's some weird bumps along the way, but like some weird dialogue sometimes here and there. But like what's her name? The sister, that medic sister who had the gun at the end. Sakura.
Yeah.
Yeah, her kind of bouncing back and forth about her opinion on Shinji there for a bit.
Doesn't want Shinji to, or because the reason my people are dead, and then Misato's, I trust him. Okay, we should just trust. Oh my, it's like, wow, that was fast.
All right, yeah, sure, okay, but yeah. So yeah, a lot of satisfying conclusions to a lot of this stuff. Really more in depth. Like these relationships have already been kind of explored a little bit. We're now really getting really into things like Gendo being explored successfully. All this stuff just really works out. We should, even just we get Shinji just was able to work through his stuff in a way that felt organic and genuinely helpful. I mean, granted, it's one of those things that's like, it's not, instant fix, but for the purpose of the narrative and getting things done at the end, it worked out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it just worked out really well. And I just really genuinely...
They did a good job.
It worked out really well.
Good.
And yeah, once again, music was great as well. Animation was, again, superb. A lot of the CG stuff. One actually really impressively done scene, even though, it's kind of somewhat motion captured, is still, Asuka force-feeding Shinji.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's a lot of just impressive animation in general. Also, the music was also the really nice song to play over the end credits and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even a couple callbacks to the original series and stuff. So it just worked out really well.
Yeah, this is the way you do things with like callbacks and things too. Like, there's not over the top as like leaning on callbacks or anything like that. It's just all around. I can't find any major faults in this movie, really.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's long, but it needs to be long. But
long isn't bad. Just a lot of people kind of use us. I'm noticing that's a criticism, just shorthand for. I just don't want to sit there for a long time. It's like, it's kind of a you problem, though.
It very much is. Long can be perfectly fine. Long isn't a criticism; it's a warning.
It's a long movie.
It's a long movie. It's good. It needs to be long, but be prepared for 2.5 hours.
Other things do not need to be long.
Yeah.
Zach.
It's still not the longest thing I've sat down and watched.
I guess that would more or less be it for this one, probably.
Yep.
Gotta go ahead and get this one
wrap this one up.
Just wrap this one up. It's fantastic, and it was worth. I am actually quite happy. I somehow made it all the way without getting spoiled on it.
Same. Like, the only thing
other than
I knew
minor
was
things like Asuka has an eye patch now, and Ray gets long hair at some point.
And we knew Murray was a thing because we see the trailers and whatnot.
But any of the large points, I did not get spoiled on, even though it's like I didn't actively try to avoid it. It just I somehow did.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that I was able to go in this with, whatever, although his expectations was, I saw a lot of people really like this.
I do think one criticism. I just remember that there's probably one criticism. It is kind of minor. Fortunately, there were some sections that were probably a bit more fan servicey than they needed to be.
Yeah,
but they were pretty minor.
Yeah, it's always been a thing with Evangelion, unfortunately.
Yeah, but fortunately they were pretty minor. A little bit too much focus on Asuka without
clothes.
She had clothes technically.
But yeah, well,
put some pants on. Jeez.
Yeah, well. Anyway, I guess that will be it for this one. If you did like our discussion on it, you can find other episodes at newtoweeaboo.libsyn.com. It's spelled Libsyn. You can subscribe to the RSS feed there. Or to find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and Amazon Podcasts, or whatever they're calling it. Search for New to Weeaboo on those. Click the buttons at the top of the Libsyn site. However you want to do that, you can do so. And keep up to date with us and whatnot. If you want to contact us, though, you can do so via email, newtoweeaboo@gmail.com if you have questions or comments or anime recommendations or what have you. You can also follow our various social media and whatnot and contact us that way via newtoweeaboo.libsyn.com/contact. All our social media is on there. And of course, you can also find our personal stuff pretty quickly through those as well. So that will be it for this one.
Yep.
Join us next time in 2024.
Another year
here. We'll be talking about the classic, apparently rom-com Toradora.
Hey.
We'll be talking about that one.
Yep.
So we'll see you then, and have a safe New Year and all that stuff. Don't blow your hand off with a firework or anything if you're gonna do that.
Yep.
And we'll see you in 2024. So goodbye.
Bye.